Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.
It's an organization that's very open to interns. It's very open to helping anybody understand, get to the right piece of information. So I landed up connecting with, in my opinion, at least internationally, with very, very senior people. And all I had to say is, hey, I'm an intern. I'm working on this XYZ project, and could you help me out? And immediately they'd come back saying that, hey, why don't we schedule a time together?
We have an Outlook website for our organization where you can contact anybody you want to. Just put in an email, and if the person agrees, you can block their calendar. So it's as easy as that.
Once you get the time with them, I think they don't look at you as an intern, or they don't treat you like an intern and give you less information that you might be privy to. They treat it as a proper meeting and an interaction, and it's up to you to gain as much as you can from the 30 minutes that you spend with them offline.
During that particular time, you also have to be open to asking a lot of questions, because from that interaction, basically the more you ask, the more you get out of the interaction. And you also need to look at where exactly that person's domain is and where exactly the person is situated, so that you don't land up asking questions which are not pertinent. Otherwise they'll be like, actually I don't have perspective on this, but I'll tell you XYZ, and it doesn't really help you or them. Sometimes you need to connect with people who are more or less, who've gone through the same journey as yourself recently. So it's in recent memory. And I've met somebody who's a UFLP. Ultimately, after hearing me out, she helped structure my thoughts and say that, hey, I think this is what they meant. I think this is where you're going right. I think this is where you're going wrong.
I didn't know if I should speak about this to my tutor, because I was wondering if he'd judge me and think that I'm doing a bad job. I was visiting a lot of these parlors, and I wasn't getting entry to any of these parlors because these are female beauty parlors, and when they see a man coming at their doorstep, they didn't let you enter. I took him aside and I told him about the problems that I'm facing, and he looked at it as an insight rather than a bad thing. The people in the company are programmed to look at positives from even the biggest challenges or biggest roadblocks that you face, and that is why I think a company like HUL is as successful as it is today.
So there was another colleague of mine who was working in the same hair team as I was, and she had also recently joined, but she knew the culture in Unilever as she was interning there before. So she was again a go-to person. So there are these people who are probably your age or working as a colleague in your team, and they're always ready to help.
HUL is the company which takes their interns very seriously, and they will be they'll do anything to help you, to support you in the manner they can.
It always helps to talk to other interns, because you feel that you're not as bad as you think. Everyone is failing miserably at this point. It ends up being that the first month is a lot of struggle, but eventually you realize that you're going to do well.
When it comes to networking, the biggest plus point was my fellow interns, because each of us were working in such diverse categories and such diverse projects. There was a lot of cross-functional networking as well, which I think was the biggest learning curve for me, because they gave me different ways of doing things which I would have probably not thought of if I just stuck to my guns and was by myself.
First of all, my experience outside the country and outside the continent was for the first time ever. So 2 months at Nigeria were tough, but they were fun. Both in terms of learning, I saw a factory, a particular manufacturing site, which is very crude. I got to be in a completely new culture. Everyone's new, everyone speaks a different language. It's a lot of fun.
So we just made it a point that at least 2 of the weekends we'll go to some other island. How that helped me was, 1, it helped me know the culture, and 2, it helped me use what I learned and saw over there on my projects as well, because FMCG is so huge that wherever you go, it will have a touch point in your life.
We went for factory visits, we went to an R&D center, we went to a customer insight center, and I also went on a market visit. So basically I got a sense of how does HUL create its products, where does it sell the products, how does it sell these products. So it gave me an understanding of, if I had to say tomorrow start my own HUL, what should it look like, how are they leveraging data, and very exciting things.
I think when it comes to the final presentation, something that you should keep in mind is know exactly what your problem is, what your objective was while doing the problem, and then arrive at the solution, because very often we tend to get carried away with the width of the project, and halfway to the project we don't really know why we're doing the project.
One of the best practices is to start from much earlier. So you start building your decks, you start building your arguments say 3 or 4 weeks before as well, saying that this is what I've understood from the project, and then you keep making iterations, because once you chart out that big picture, you're not stuck on the last stage trying to connect all the dots.
It has to have all the data, but in a very crisp format. What is that one line that every slide should convey to my listener?
What we tend to do during our final presentation is we assume that these people know what we're trying to say and we skip the overview, which is a really bad thing. You need to set the stage before you're actually presenting what you did. You need to give them a story. You can't just start talking about data and your graph.
Hi guys, we hope you like this video.
And if you did, hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon.
हाँ बस हो गया, अभी काम भी कर लो.
हाँ ठीक है चलो.